Hi, and welcome to this tutorial where we will be going over some of the smart tools on your raster image editing program's toolbar. So these tools use artificial intelligence and they can really save you a lot of time. They're underneath the tool that looks like a band-aid. So we're going to be going over spot healing brush, and the patch tool. So the spot healing brush lets you remove unwanted artifacts or remove objects from pictures. So what you will do is you'll simply draw over an unwanted area, just like you do with like the brush tool, and then you'll release the mouse. After that, the area that you drew over will be forgotten and replaced with some appropriate guessed content that the program guesses that surrounds the area. So pixel data will be taken and then from around that spot, and then it will guess what you want to put in its place. So this can be helpful if you've got people on a beach that you want to replace with. It will be helpful to remove blemishes from skin or scratches from old photographs. You would have to use the clone stamp for several minutes to achieve a similar result. So the spot heal brush takes a lot of the guesswork away. So let's try getting rid of, like on this girl's arm over here, let's try getting rid of a freckle with our spot healing brush. So first I'm going to make the size of my brush, that looks good. I'm going to make the hardness of it, I'm going to make it very soft so that it blends in with the surrounding skin. And I'm going to click over the freckle. It's going to guess what to put there. And it's disappeared. Let's do it with this freckle as well. There and here. Now, the healing brush underneath the spot healing brush works in a similar way. By the way, I can hit J on my keyboard to get to any of these and rotate through them. So as I click J on my keyboard, I'll get to the next place. Oops, looks like I moved, as I clicked J, I moved my menu down here. Let's see if I can move this back up. It appears to be struggling because the picture is so large. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's move to our healing brush instead of the spot healing brush. Now, these are very similar tools, but the healing brush is different because it's used the same as the clone stamp. There is a source spot that you select, and then in the healing brush you also use that source spot, but then the cloned spot, it takes on similar appearances to the pixels that are surrounding the new spot. So let me see if I can say that again in a little bit of a different way. Using the healing brush is the same as the clone stamp in that you select a source spot. The only difference between those is that the cloned content is then adapted to the surrounding after the release of the mouse. So let me demonstrate. I'm going to make my brush bigger so you can see. And I'm going to select a source spot of maybe this wood over here. So I'm going to Alt click, and now you can see it's like the clone stamp. I've got my source material, and I'm going to come draw it over here on the skin. And then as I draw it, it will be blended in with the surrounding pixels of the skin over here on his neck. So now you can see that the wood texture has blended in with his neck. So that's what's different between the healing brush and the spot healing brush, is that the spot healing brush doesn't have this source point. It selects the pixels surrounding the pixel that you're trying to heal automatically. But with the healing brush, I use that source point for data, and then it blends in that source point around those pixels. Finally, we have in the healing brushes the patch tool. The patch tool allows me to make a big selection. I'm pressing Control minus on my keyboard to zoom out. I can make a selection around something like her lips. I would probably never do this when I was editing, but this is for the sake of demonstration. And then I can click and I can drag to a spot I would like it to heal from. And I'm going to drag it over to this arm skin. And you can see that it now took the data and healed what was inside of the selection. So it will take what's inside of the selection and heal it. So with the patch tool, you'll create first a selection over an area that you want replaced. Then you drag that selection to another place to choose the source of the cloning. And then the area is adapted after the releasing of the mouse. So with the spot heal, you only choose an area that should be healed. For healing brush and patch tool, you have to choose an area, the source, from which the image content should be taken, which is similar to the clone stamp. The difference between the patch tool and the healing tool is that the healing tool is more like a brush that you can use, and the patch tool is more like a selection that you can draw for bigger areas.